Treadwater. It could have started with the boxes, their bare walls, the half unpacked kitchen, the late afternoon light spilling through the apartment window, turning the hardwood floor gold. Instead, it started with a tree. Black ink stretched across Madeline's shoulder, its branches twisted upward, reaching towards something just beyond her skin. Beneath its roots, in small, deliberate letters, were two words: Treadwater. Madeline ran her fingers over the tattoo. She stopped. For a moment, the apartment disappeared. She was sitting on the edge of a mattress on the floor, surrounded by cardboard boxes. Some were still sealed. Others had surrendered their contents to the hardwood floor. Books leaned against the walls, waiting for shelves. Kitchen dishes were wrapped in newspaper. Clothes lay half folded across the bed. She had been unpacking for almost an hour, but the tattoo had stopped her. It always did. There had been a time when those words meant something entirely different. A mixtape. Malcolm had made her one for the days when she felt sad. Side A was for sadness. Nirvana, Depeche Mode, The Cure, The Cranberries. Songs that didn't ask her to pretend she was okay. Songs that didn't try to pull her out of whatever darkness she had fallen into. They simply sat there with her. Malcolm had always believed sadness wasn't something you ran from. You had to feel it, embrace it, let it wash over you. And when you had felt enough, you flipped the tape. Side B. The sad songs gave way to something else. Music that made sitting still impossible. Songs that made you want to get up, move around, maybe even dance badly enough to embarrass yourself. A Tribe Called Quest, Pet Shop Boys, Lauryn Hill, Pink Floyd. And then there was De La Soul, Malcolm's favorite group. His favorite song, Treadwater. She could still see his face whenever it came on. That grin, that ridiculous little dance he used to do, and the way he would look at her as if he already knew what she needed. Now get up and dance. Madeline smiled. The memory faded. The apartment returned. New city, new walls, new beginning. The tattoo remained the same. Feel the sadness. Then flip the tape and dance. Madeline reached for her phone and connected it to the Google Home. A second later, music filled the apartment. She started unpacking again, and then she started dancing. A shuffle between cardboard boxes, a spin around the coffee table, one completely unnecessary dance move was squeezed into a narrow space between the couch and the off-gray recliner she had inherited from her father. The apartment was barely 700 square feet, just enough room for the couch, desk, side table, coffee table, and recliner. Barely enough room to breathe, but somehow there was always room to dance. She moved from box to box, laughing at herself as she unpacked plates, picture frames, books, and things she had forgotten she owned. For a few minutes, she wasn't thinking about what she had left behind. She was simply moving forward. Outside, the city continued without her. Cars passed below the window. Somewhere in the distance, a siren rose and disappeared. A neighbor closed a door. Someone laughed somewhere along Lyle Street. Inside, the music filled the empty walls, and beneath it all was the quiet understanding that she hadn't really left everyone behind. Her father was buried not far from her mother. And, of course, Malcolm. All three were laid to rest in Richmond Hill's largest cemetery. She knew that, as the years passed, the guest list would only get busier. There would be more names, more flowers, more graves to visit. She would make the rounds, but Madeline never made it a goal to visit Malcolm every time she went. She preferred visiting him alone. Just the two of them, like they used to be, sneaking out of the park to the park after 90210 when the rest of the world had gone quiet and nobody knew where they were. Those were the visits she liked the best. No family, no crowd, no one asking if she was okay. Just Malcolm, just Madeline. And for a little while, no one else. The music continued playing. Madeline looked down at the tattoo on her shoulder, Treadwater. Then she turned the music up. There was one thing she still had to do. get the balcony sorted. She had promised herself she would make it a place where she would sit at night, look out over the city, and smoke a joint before bed. Nothing fancy, just a chair, maybe a small table, somewhere to breathe. She took a break from unpacking and stepped outside. Dinner hour has arrived. The sky over London was beginning to soften, the last of the daylight hanging between the buildings. From the balcony, she could hear the sounds of the neighborhood settling into the evening. Lyle Street, Oldies Village, London, Ontario, home. At least, that was what she was trying to make it. Earlier, she had stopped at the 7-Eleven down the street and grabbed a frozen pizza. It was now thawing on the kitchen counter, waiting to become dinner. It wasn't much, but that was the strange thing about starting over. Sometimes big moments looked remarkably ordinary. Pizza, a cardboard box, a new set of keys, a balcony overlooking a neighborhood she barely knew. Madeline smiled. For a small-town girl, London felt enormous. Not Toronto, not nearly as dense or as multicultural, but there was something about the buildings, the streets, the old brick mixed with new construction, and the constant movement of people she didn't even know. It made her feel grown up. She had a condo. She had a job to figure out. She had a city to learn. And for the first time in a long time, she had no one telling her what came next. She was doing this alone. The selling point of the newish building on Lyle Street, just off Dundas in the heart of the village, had been the rooftop patio. She had seen it during the viewing and immediately imagined herself up there with a coffee. Breakfast in the morning, maybe a book, maybe nothing at all. She decided she would check it out tomorrow. Tonight, she was too tired. The day had taken everything out of her. Unpacking, driving, sorting, planning, remembering, dreaming. It was strange how exhausting hope could be. Madeline went back inside. The pizza went into the oven. She unpacked a few more things, ate standing at the kitchen counter, and eventually gave up pretending she was going to finish anything else. She lay on the floor mattress. When she lowered herself onto it, her back cracked loudly, even enough to make her laugh. Outside, crickets chirped through the open balcony door. She reached into the box marked throw and pulled out a blanket. Then she turned off the lights. The apartment felt quiet. For the first time all day, there was nothing left to distract her. She closed her eyes. Nothing. Her mind was kept moving. What was next? Would she like the city? Would she make friends? Would she be happy? Was she brave enough to doing this? Or running away? Nervous, excited, sad, reflective. All it seemed to exist at once. She rolled onto her side. Her hand found the tattoo. Her fingers rested over the words beneath the tree. Tread water. And then she remembered something Malcolm had once told her. It had been one of his secrets. He needed to hold hands when he slept. Every night. It didn't matter whose hand, someone else's or his own. He told her once, almost embarrassed by the admission, that sometimes he would simply clasp his own hands together beneath the blankets. She had laughed, not at him, just because it was so Malcolm. Until the night they were camping in the park. That night, the laughter had disappeared. Malcolm had woken in the darkness, struggling to breathe, a panic attack. Madeline remembered the fear in his face, the way he tried to convince her he was okay when he clearly wasn't. She hadn't known what to say, so she remembered the secret. She reached for his hand, then held it. Neither of them spoke. She simply stayed there. His breathing slowly settled, and eventually his fingers tightened around hers. Madeline never forgot that. Years later, she still sometimes held her own hands when she slept. She would lace her fingers together beneath the blanket and close her eyes. Maybe it was a habit. Maybe it was comfort. Maybe some part of her still remembered that night in the park. Tonight, laying alone in her apartment, she did it again. Her fingers intertwined. She pressed her hands gently across her chest. Then her thumb brushed across the tattoo. Tread water. For a moment, she imagined Malcolm beside her, not as a ghost, not as something supernatural, just as a memory, the kind that arrives quietly, the kind that makes an empty room feel less empty. She imagined what he would say about the apartment. He would tease her about the tiny living room. He would complain the recliner wasn't comfortable. He would probably tell her the pizza needed more time in the oven. And then eventually he would tell her she was going to be okay. Madeline smiled into the darkness. She pulled the pillow between her knees and rested her head against the other side. The balcony door remained open. Cool night air drifted into the room. For the first time since arriving, she allowed herself to stop. Tomorrow, there would be more boxes, more decisions, a new neighborhood to explore, a rooftop patio waiting upstairs, a life waiting to be built. Tonight, there was only the darkness, the quiet, the words beneath her fingertips, tread water. She closed her eyes. Her hands remained intertwined. And somewhere between memory and sleep, London and heaven, Madeline imagined Malcolm smiling. Now get up and dance. She smiled back.